Welcome to Ecclesia Principles, a biblical strategy for believers to engage in God's design for government with Ray Eppard.
Today we're happy to have with us Doobie Sabo, and he is from Israel. He is a tour guide there, and he's going to talk to us about a number of things, one of which is what is happening in Israel right now. The idea and the concept of a two-state solution is not possible when the goal is the elimination of one of those states.
The beginning of peace, Pastor, the beginning of peace
Yes.
starts with education.
Yes.
The Jewish prayer book is the only prayer book I know that 2 times a day ends with the verse, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Please God, give us the strength and bless us with peace. From the age of 3, we educate every child in every synagogue that the last thing that they can ever ask from God is shalom, peace, because shalom is the name of God.
Yeah.
Shalem, whole and complete. This is the most important name of God. And therefore, we educate our kids for peace.
Yes.
But the other side, you open any textbook from 1st grade to the 12th grade, it starts with the next paragraph. We shall negotiate with the Jews for whatever we can get, but we will fight to the rest of our lives to make sure that between the river to the sea, there'll be no more living Jews. That's how they educate their kids. The most selling toy in the Palestinian Authority's territories, not even in Gaza, is guns and hand grenades and this fake explosive belt. That's the most selling toy.
Yes.
They go to summer camps teaching kids from the age of 5, 6 to shoot guns,
Yes.
to throw hand grenades. That's a society that educates people for death and killing and massacring people and innocent people. That's why, as long as their education system is not going to turn over and turn around
Yes.
and educate the people for peace, there'll be no possibility even for two-state solution, because this would be only in a declarative way. But in the end of the day, they'll just gain more soil, they'll gain more land that God gave us as a deposit.
Yeah.
It's not for us to give away.
Right.
I mean, if God gives me a gift, I'm not going to be that arrogant and say, I don't want it, take it.
Yes.
It's God gave us this land. He brought us miraculously. After 2,000 years that we paid a huge toll with a lot of extermination, Holocaust, pogroms, inquisitions, we bleed to return back home. We paid this toll. We were now granted this land back by God as a deposit. We're not going to give it back to anybody, because he said he wants us to be from the Euphrates River in Babylon, in Iraq, all the way to the River Nile in Egypt. That's the land that he promised Abraham. And we compromise for much less on behalf of our living people so we can live in peace with our neighbors. And yet they don't want to give us. They have 21 Muslim states where they can go to. We don't even tell them to go. We just tell them just go in peace or be peaceful. We don't want to kill. People don't know. There are 22% of the population of Israel. They are equal right
Yes.
Muslim citizens.
Yes.
They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're drivers, they're pharmacists, they're everything. They're members of Knesset, they're judges of the Supreme Court. We have 22% Israeli citizens, they're Muslims. If you offer them to go to Switzerland, to any country in the world, they don't want to go anywhere because they have great life in Israel with the Jews.
Yes.
Because we were trained and educated from the beginning when we left Egypt. God always tells us, you're a landlord in Israel, you're a Jewish landlord, and you sit on your soil, and you sit in your garden, and you start a meal. You first feed the animals, which are innocent,
Yes.
and then you feed the orphans, and the widows and the foreigner, and only then your family.
Yeah.
For I would like you to always remember that foreigner you were in Egypt. And even though we were enslaved and we suffered and everything, still we were thriving so much that Pharaoh couldn't take it anymore.
Yes.
So that's how we are educated from youth. We read the Passover, which is the Last Supper, which is what Jesus was celebrating, just if nobody remembers. We train our children and our people every year to remember the miraculous ways that God brought us to our promised land, what we had to go through, and how should we guard it and watch it. And then some people, some politicians, some corrupt politicians are trading with God's gift. No, there's no way to do this.
You've been listening to Ecclesia Principles with Ray Eppard. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook on our Ray Eppard pages. This program was brought to you by Victory Worship Center and World Outreach. Services Sunday 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, 200 Hammond Lane, Stanton, Virginia.